Hi and welcome back. Okay, in the last task we looked at putting some more styles on here, and we got two columns and we were using this hashtag for a selector. Now unfortunately selectors can only appear once on a page. So for example, I can't name any other element ID header. But what if I want to use styles over and over again on the page? Well, fortunately I have a thing called a class. Now, the first class we're going to create is the one that sorts out this background. Now the background at the moment should all be that nice light blue, but unfortunately because it doesn't know what length these columns are, there's no way of gauging where the bottom of this is, so when it renders the page. So what we need to do is put another div at the end of the page. So I'm going to head down to here, okay, and at the end of the container div, which is just here, I'm going to put in a new one. I'm going to put just a div. It's got no name actually, but it has got a class, okay, which equals clear me. Now the difference between a class and a selector is that I can now apply clear me to any part of this. So if I was going further down the page with two columns and I wanted just a line drawn right across the page, I can use this clear me class. So what does clear me do? Well, in here, instead of the hashtag, I use a dot. Okay, and I can use, I've called it clear me. That's the name of the class. Okay, and now in here, I need to type some text. And if memory serves me right, that text is clear : both. So it should clear both, all columns along there. So if I do run, there we go, look at that. It's now rendered it perfectly. And the blue has come to the bottom, and I've got this little div down the bottom here. No text in it, no nothing. But I've used this class called clear me to do that. Now you can use classes in another way. So supposing that we like the idea of just putting a little line down by each paragraph here. Okay, so we could call our class snippet. Okay, and then do padding hyphen right. So we can put a nice little bit of right padding on here. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's not do that. Let's do border instead. So I'm going to do border. Actually, I want it on the left. So I'm going to do border left. Complete change of mind there. Border on the left, 1 pixel, solid, in a slightly different color. And this time I'm going to use hashtag 003399. Okay, now obviously nothing's going to happen at the moment because I haven't applied my class snippet to anything at all. If I run it, it looks exactly the same. What I do need to do is say, right, look, this first paragraph, I'm now going to apply the class here to that particular element, this first paragraph. Okay, I'll just wait for that to save. Okay. Then can you see the line has appeared here? Well, it's not very enticing, is it? I think we just need a little bit of padding there. So I want it 10 pixels away from the border. So I might just do semicolon and then put some padding in there. Okay, so padding hyphen right colon 10 pixels away from the border. Let's see if that's worked. Is it right or left padding we needed? Let's just try left padding. Oops. Maybe it didn't save. There it is. Perfect. Can you see it's just moved it across? If I did that for each of them now, they'd all be in line and that would work perfectly. So I'm just going to give that one. I'm just going to apply, and this is the key thing about classes. I can say class equals snippet, and I can use this over and over again in my HTML. There we go. And then you run the page. Hey presto, I've got these lovely lines just there. Okay, and I've been using this class on my. And the final thing is perhaps this quote here. It'd be better if it was in italics, wouldn't it? So I can now define my quote as a class. Okay, and anything in my quote I'm going to put into italics. So I think we've got font style italics. I'm going to double check that in a minute. It's always worth heading to a website just to make sure that you get this stuff absolutely right, because sometimes you know, not everyone can remember all this stuff all the time. Okay, and my quote. So the only problem here is that there's no element to apply this to. So what I can do is I can use this very useful span element and put class equals my quote in there like that. Okay, so class equals my quote, and then end the span here, and that just allows me to sort of hive off, I guess, a little bit of, so section off a little bit of text between the span, yeah, set it to my quote and put that in italics. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check that I've got the right format for this. I've got span, class equals my quote, that's good. I've got dot my quote. I think perhaps italic might be the correct way of putting this. Let's run it. Yeah, sure, there, look. It's now in italic. Okay, so font hyphen style colon italic. Okay, and that is all there is really to classes. You can create them by using the dot, and you apply them over here, and you can apply them to multiple elements. And if you haven't got an element, don't worry. Use the span class. Use the span element, and that's really, really powerful. A lot of web pages use it. Good. This should now happily mark. Let's just test it. And so into Learn Informatics we go, into classes, click, paste in our CSS. Brilliant. Another task completed. Great. And our web page is starting to take some real shape now, isn't it? We've got our image up here with the title there. Been using a bit of float. Here we've got 2 columns, nicely finished off down here, and a little bit of class work. Okay, using some classes to help just tidy things up and make them look a little bit better. Great.